Today we have Exra begin the game with a mountain, Sam plays a tap Dragon Skull Summit, John plays a tap Jedmir's Garden, and Tom rounds out the turn with a tap Sunken Hollow. Exra is the first to take part in the actual gameplay, and he plays a Sulphurous Springs for a turn, then taps 2 for Fellwar Stone. Sam plays a Plains, then casts a Bitter Blossom before passing. John plays a Clifftop Retreat and an Incubation Druid. He passes to Tom. Tom plays a Forest, followed by a 3 visits to get a tapped Zagoth Triumph onto the field. Moving to his turn, Exra plays a Mountain and casts Pirate's Pillage, discarding a card while drawing 2 and making 2 treasures. He then passes to Sam. On Sam's upkeep, Bitter Blossom triggers, losing 1 life and making a fairy. He plays a Blightstep Pathway, keeps his options open, and passes to John. John plays a Needle Verge Pathway, then casts a Wolfcaller's Howl before passing. Tom plays the Llanowar Wastes, followed by his commander, the Master Transcendent, triggering his effect and giving John 2 rad counters. Exra plays a Command Tower for turn, then casts Odraxanil Deepest Might. On his end step, Sam casts Terminate, destroying Incubation Druid, and moves to his turn. Sam repeats last turn by losing 1, making a fairy, and playing a tapped Fury Calm Snarl before passing the turn. On John's upkeep, Wolfcaller triggers, making 3 wolves, followed by Radiation, making him mill 2, lose 2 life, and 2 rad counters. John then proceeds to cast Elvish Mystic and pass the turn to Tom. Tom plays a Dark Boar Pathway for turn, then plays a duo of Sting, the Glinting Dagger, and Infesting Radroach. He passes back to Exra. Exra then starts his own turn with a Mountain, then casts his commander, Judith, Carnage Connoisseur. He then proceeds to cast Warlord's Fury, triggering Judith to make an imp. Sam responds to this, however, by casting Generous Gift on Judith, turning it into an elephant. Once all is settled, Exra attacks Sam with Odraxanil, then it passes him the turn. On Sam's upkeep, Bitter Blossom triggers, losing him 1 life and making another fairy. He plays a Plains for turn, then casts his commander, Caesar, Legion's Emperor. He swings the previous 2 fairies at Exra for 2, triggering Caesar, who sacrifices 1 of the attacking fairies to lose 1, draw 1, and deal 2 to Exra. He then passes to John. On John's upkeep, Wolfcaller triggers, making 3 new wolves. John then proceeds to play a Forest, then casts the Uncivil Unrest. Tom first equips Sting to Radroach, then immediately goes to combat, using said Roach to attack John, triggering his effect and giving him 3 rad counters. In his second main, he plays a Forest, re-equips Sting to Master, and casts Feed the Swarm, destroying Uncivil Unrest and losing 5 life in the process. Exra plays a Mountain as his land for turn, then recasts his commander, Judith, Carnage Connoisseur, before passing to Sam. On Sam's upkeep, he once again loses 1 life and makes a fairy. He casts Alinda, the Dusk Rose, then plays a Shine Shadow Snarl tapped for turn. He swings 2 fairies at John, triggering Caesar, who sacrifices 1 of the attacking fairies to make 2 soldiers attacking Tom, while losing 1 and drawing a card. A soldier is blocked by Master, once again triggering Alinda, and the turn is passed to John. On John's upkeep, Wolfcaller triggers, making 2 wolves, followed by Radiation, making him mill 3, lose 1 life, and a rad counter. He plays the Bountiful Promenade for turn, then casts his commander, Voja, Jaws of the Conclave. With that done, he passes. On his turn, Tom plays an Underground River, then taps 2 to equip Sting to Radroach, which attacks Sam, giving him 3 rad counters. He then proceeds to cast Arcane Signet, re-equip Sting to Master, and pass the turn to Exra. Exra misses his land drop and just casts Torbrand, Thane of Redfell, before passing to Sam. On Sam's upkeep, Bitter Blossom triggers, losing 1 life and making a fairy, followed by Radiation, making him mill 3, lose 1 life, and a rad counter. He then casts Pitiless Plunderer and tries to go to combat, where Tom activates Master, returning Hero of Blade Hold, before Sting gets to untap him. Sam then swings a soldier at Tom, triggering Caesar, sacrificing said soldier to make 2 new ones, attacking Tom, alongside losing 1 life, drawing a card, and giving Galenda a counter. Tom then takes the hit, and the turn goes to John. On John's upkeep, Wolf Caller triggers, making 2 wolves, followed by Radiation, making him mill 2. John then proceeds to cast Wolf Skull Shaman, and goes to combat, where Exra casts Spikefield Hazard on Voja, paying for ward. This triggers Judith to make an imp, and in response, John casts Generous Gift on Oger, making him transform into a tapped land. Voja is now able to attack, alongside his 8 trusty companions at Exra, triggering his effect to give all his creatures 2 counters, and drawing 11. Exra is forced to block with 2 imps, and both elephants, which triggers both Elenda, gaining 6 counters, and 2 imps, dealing 8 to each opponent. In his second main, John plays a Plains, followed by the ramping duo of Soul Ring and Wood Elves, getting Canopy Vista. Tom plays an Underground Mortuary for turn, using its effect to put the top card into his graveyard. He activates Master to return the surveilled creature into play, and goes to combat, untapping Master with Sting. He then attacks John with Rad Roach, giving him 2 rad counters, before passing the turn. Exra starts his turn off with a Birgi, God of Storytelling, followed by Unexpected Windfall, discarding a card, while triggering Birgi to make a red, and Judith to make an imp. Next he casts Altar's Reap, sacking the imp, triggering Birgi, Judith, and imp, with Sam responding by Chaos Warping Torbrand into Uribrask. The imp and Reap then resolve, before continuing on with Costly Plunder, sacking the new imp, triggering Birgi, Uribrask on John, Judith, and imp. He casts Crash Through, triggering Birgi, Uribrask at John, and Judith, followed by Crimson Wisps, repeating the triggers once again. He then activates Temple of Power, transforming it back into Oger Axonil. Once that is done, Exra continues with Tormenting Voice, discarding a card, triggering Birgi, Uribrask for 4 at Sam, and Judith. Next is Haunted Ridge, his land drop for turn, which is used to cast Fanatical Offering, sacking an imp, which deals 4, also triggering Birgi, Uribrask, and Judith. Wanting to deal some more damage, he casts Orcish Cannonade on his own imp, triggering Birgi, Uribrask, and Judith, giving it Death Touch and Lifelink. The imp dies, and takes Sam and John along for the ride. Exra then cleans up with a young Pyromancer, and a pass. Seeing his future on the horizon, Tom activates Zelix, digging for an out to his predicament. He then uses Master to return the milled Consuming Aberration, followed by Infernal Grasp on Uribrask. Triggering Aberration, have Extra mill until he hits a land. With that done, he goes to combat, untaps Master with Sting, and hits Extra with Rad Roach, giving him 2 rad counters, before passing to his demise. Extra first triggers Radiation, milling 2, losing 2 life, and 2 rad counters, then ends the game with an all-out attack at Tom, leaving him with no life remaining. With that, Extra and Judith win again.